The fourth-generation iPad is a tablet computer produced and marketed by Apple Incorporated. Compared to its predecessor, the fourth-generation iPad maintained the Retina display but featured new and upgraded components such as the Apple A6X chip, and the Lightning connector, which was introduced on September 12, 2012. It shipped with iOS 6.0, which provides a platform for audio-visual media, including electronic books, periodicals, films, music, computer games, presentations and web content. It was announced at a media conference on October 23, 2012 as the fourth generation of the iPad line, succeeding the third-generation iPad, and was first released on November 2, 2012 in 35 countries. The device was released throughout December in 10 other countries including China, India and Brazil. The third generation was discontinued following the fourth's announcement. The device is available with either a black or white front glass panel and various connectivity and storage options. Storage size options include 16 GB, 32 GB, 64 GB, and 128 GB. The available connectivity options are Wi-Fi only and Wi-Fi plus cellular with LTE capabilities. The fourth-generation iPad received primarily positive reviews and was praised for its hardware improvements as well as the Retina display, which was also featured in the device's predecessor. Furthermore, benchmarks reveal that the fourth-generation iPad is able to perform CPU-reliant tasks twice as fast as its predecessor. During the first weekend of sales, an aggregated amount of 3 million fourth-generation iPads and iPad minis were sold. History: rumors regarding the next-generation iPad emerged shortly after the release of the third-generation iPad. At that point some speculated that the next iPad released would be of a smaller size. Further speculations emerged in July 2012 when G-Times, with the help of unspecified sources, claimed that Apple made small revisions to the then-upcoming iPad and scheduled its release for late 2012. On October 16, 2012, Apple announced a media event scheduled for October 23 at the California Theater in San Jose, California. The company did not pre-disclose the subject of the event, but it was widely expected to be regarding the iPad mini. Photographic images of the device's dock connector and front camera emerged shortly before the media event. At the media event, Apple CEO Tim Cook introduced a new version of iBooks and new generations of the MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, and the iMac before unveiling the fourth-generation iPad and the iPad mini. During the unveiling, Apple stated that the fourth-generation iPad would be available to pre-order online in a selected number of countries starting October 26. On November 2, Apple released the Wi-Fi model of device in 35 countries across Europe, East Asia and North America. The cellular model was released in store a few weeks after the initial release of the device. The release of the fourth-generation iPad led to the discontinuation of its predecessor, which angered many third-generation iPad users. In response, Apple extended its 14-day return policy to 30 days. Its Pro portal noted that, since the price of both models is identical, consumers that purchased the third-generation iPad within this time frame were effectively allowed to exchange their discontinued device for the fourth-generation model. On January 29, 2013, Apple announced and scheduled the launch of the 128 GB variant of fourth-generation iPad. It was released on February 5, 2013. Following the announcement of the iPad Air on October 22, 2013, the sale of the iPad fourth generation was discontinued. The fourth-generation iPad was reintroduced on March 18, 2014, following the discontinuation of the iPad 2. In order to make its reintroduction a low-end device to the iPad Air, its price was cut by 20% over its original launch price. Features: software. The fourth-generation iPad is shipped with iOS 6.1. It can act as a hotspot with some carriers, sharing its internet connection over Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or USB, and also access the Apple App Store, a digital application distribution platform for iOS. The service allows users to browse and download applications from the iTunes Store that were developed with Xcode in the iOS SDK and were published through Apple. From the App Store, GarageBand, iMovie, iPhoto, and the iWork apps are available. The iPad comes with several pre-installed applications, including Siri, Safari, Mail, Photos, Video, Music, iTunes, App Store, Maps, Notes, Calendar, Game Center, Photo Booth, and Contacts. Like all iOS devices, the iPad can sync content and other data with a Mac or PC using iTunes, although iOS 5 and later can be managed and backed up without a computer. Although the tablet is not designed to make phone calls over a cellular network, users can use a headset or the built-in speaker and microphone to place phone calls over Wi-Fi or cellular using a VoIP application, such as Skype. The device has a dictation application, using the same voice recognition technology as the iPhone 4S. The user speaks and the iPad types what they say on the screen, though the iPad must have an internet connection available due to the feature's reliance on Apple servers to translate the speech. The fourth-generation iPad has an optional iBooks application, which displays books and other EPUB format content downloaded from the iBook store. Several major book publishers including Penguin Books, HarperCollins, Simon & Schuster and Macmillan have committed to publishing books for the device. Despite being a direct competitor to both the Amazon Kindle and Barnes & Noble Nook, both Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble offer e-reader apps for the iPad. Hardware. As with all previous generations of iPhone and iPad hardware, there are 4 buttons and 1 switch on the 4th-generation iPad. With the device in its portrait orientation, these are, a home button on the face of the device under the display that returns the user to the home screen, a wake-sleep button on the top edge of the device, and 2 buttons on the upper right side of the device performing volume up-down functions, under which is a switch whose function varies according to device settings, generally functioning either to switch the device into or out of silent mode or to lock and lock the orientation of the screen. Externally, the 4th-generation iPad is identical to its predecessor apart from the differences between dock connectors used and change of manufacturers that produced the display. In addition, the Wi-Fi-only version weighs 652 grams while the cellular model weighs 662 grams and 2 grams heavier than their respective predecessors. The display responds to other sensors, an ambient light sensor to adjust screen brightness and a 3-axis accelerometer to sense orientation and switch between portrait and landscape modes. Unlike the iPhone and iPod Touch's built-in applications, which work in 3 orientations, the iPad's built-in applications support screen rotation in all 4 orientations, including upside down. Consequently, the device has no intrinsic native orientation. Only the relative position of the home button changes. The tablet is manufactured either with or without the capability to communicate over a cellular network. All models can connect to a wireless LAN via Wi-Fi. The 4th-generation iPad is available with 16, 32, 64 or 128 GB of internal flash memory, with no expansion option. Apple sells a camera connection kit with an SD card reader, but it can only be used to transfer photos and videos. The device has an Apple A6X SoC which comprises an Apple Swift dual-core CPU running at 1.4 GHz, a quad-core PowerVR GX 554MP4 GPU and 1 GB of RAM. It also features a 5-megapixel, rear-facing camera capable of 1080p video recording, and a 720p HD front-facing videophone camera designed for FaceTime. The device features a 9.7 inches display with a resolution of 2048 by 1536 resulting in 3.1 million pixels. This gives the display a pixel density of 264 ppi. The total number of pixels used in the display of the 4th-generation iPad is 4 times that of the iPad 2A, providing even scaling from the prior model. The audio playback of the 4th-generation iPad has a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. Without third-party software it can play the following audio formats: HEAAC, AAC, Protected AAC, MP3, MP3 VBR, Audible formats, ALAC, AIFF, and WAV. This iPad uses an internal rechargeable lithium-ion polymer battery that can hold a charge of 11,560 mAh. The batteries are made in Taiwan by Simplo Technology and Dynapack International Technology. The iPad is designed to be charged with a relatively high current of 2 amps using the included 12W USB power adapter and Lightning connector. While it can be charged by an older USB port from a computer, these are limited to 500 mA. As a result, if the iPad is in use while powered by a computer, it may charge very slowly, or not at all. High-power USB ports found in newer computers and accessories provide full charging capabilities. Apple claims that the battery can provide up to 10 hours of video, audio playback, or web surfing on Wi-Fi, 9 hours of web surfing over a cellular connection, or 1 month on standby. Like any rechargeable battery, the iPad's battery loses capacity over time. However, the iPad's battery is not user-replaceable. In a program similar to iPod and iPhone battery replacement programs, Apple promised to replace an iPad that does not hold an electrical charge with a refurbished unit for a fee. During the battery replacement process, user data is not transferred, and repaired or refurbished units come with a new case. The warranty on the refurbished unit may vary between jurisdictions. Accessories. The smart cover, introduced with the iPad 2, is a screen protector that magnetically attaches to the face of the iPad. The cover has 3 folds which allow it to convert into a stand, which is also held together by magnets. The smart cover can also assume other positions by folding it. Smart covers have a microfiber bottom that cleans the front of the iPad, and wakes up the unit when the cover is removed. It comes in 5 colors of both polyurethane and the more expensive leather. Apple offers several other accessories, most of which are adapters for the proprietary Lightning connector, the only port besides the headphone jack. A dock holds the iPad at an angle, and has a dock connector and audio line-out port. The iPad can use Bluetooth keyboards that also work with Macs and PCs. The iPad can be charged by a standalone power adapter compatible with iPods and iPhones, and a 12-watt charger is included. Reception. The 4th generation iPad received primarily favorable reviews from critics and commentators. The review by Gareth Beavis of TechRadar praised the device for its high-resolution Retina display, which TechRadar wrote is one of the most impressive we've seen on a tablet to date. However, the reviewer also wrote that the screen lacks the punch seen in Super AMOLED screens seen on devices like the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. The review also praised the interface of the iPad for its simple design and easy-to-use layout. Additionally, other aspects, such as the design of the iPad and updated SoC, were noted and praised in the review. Critically, Beavis noted that the iPad can still moderately heat up under medium usage, however not to the extent seen in the 3rd generation iPad. Tim Stevens of Engadget praised the Retina display and labeled it as the best screen available on tablets. Benchmarks and tests conducted by Engadget resulted in Stevens concluding that the 4th generation iPad is the fastest Apple mobile device available, surpassing a record that the iPhone 5 held for a brief period. In a repairability review conducted by iFixit, the 4th generation iPad scored 2 out of 10 due to the use of adhesive to attach components. However, the reviewers noted that several components such as the screen and battery were easy to remove, allowing these components to be replaced more easily. Benchmark tests conducted by /Gear concluded that the SoC of the 4th generation iPad is able to perform CPU-reliant tasks more than twice as fast as that of the 3rd generation iPad. A series of benchmark tests conducted on the graphics performance of the 4th generation iPad by AnandTech resulted in the device achieving the highest score compared to other consumer mobile devices, including the Samsung Galaxy S3, Nexus 10 and 3rd generation iPad. The performance increase of the 4th generation iPad varies between tests, however an increase is nonetheless evident. Furthermore, battery longevity tests conducted by the same organization suggests that the battery of the 4th generation iPad is able to last longer than its predecessor. However, the battery of the updated iPad 2 is able to outlast the 4th generation iPad. In the first weekend of sales of the iPad mini and fourth-generation iPad, Apple reported that it sold an aggregated number of 3 million units. TechRadar noted that the first weekend sales figures for the fourth-generation iPad are lower than corresponding figures for the third-generation iPad, which sold 3 million units in its first weekend. Subsequent reports and analysis such as that from David Shea, a technology analyst, suggest that the iPad mini is selling better than the fourth-generation iPad. Despite the noted slump in sales, Apple's stock price, in direct response to the figures released, rose by 1.4% to $584.62 on November 5. Timeline of iPad models. See also: iPad accessories, comparison of tablet computers, e-book reader, Nexus 10, references. External links, iPad official site, Apple introduces iPad mini Apple's press release from October 23, 2012.